Hi, my name is Willow, and today I'm going to be reviewing Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Hammer of Thor by Riordan. Wow, that title is such a mouthful, I hadn't realized before. So first and foremost, before I get into spoilery parts of the book, I just want to say that this book was so good. I think that Riordan is just stepping it up like every time, especially with Magnus Chase. This series is so enjoyable. It's way more enjoyable than when I read the Kane Chronicles, which is his Egyptian spin-off series, and the only other not Greek series by him. And I didn't even read the last book of that one, which I probably should. But anyway, I didn't find it as intriguing or interesting as this one, and maybe because there is a little bit of like Percy bait. That's not a spoiler, because I think other people do know about the fact that there is a bit of Percy references in this book. But anyway, it's working for me, and it probably means that I'm super naive or whatever, but I just think Riordan is doing such a wonderful job, and this book was a 5 out of 5 star book for me. I know some people didn't think it was as good as the first one, but I read the first one about 2 years ago now, because this one took me like 3 months to finish because of school, and I'm reading his books one after the other and spacing them out really far. So anyway, I don't remember too much from the first book, but enough to go along with the story. Anyway, I thought this was amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. Awesome. Go pick it up if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend reading any of Riordan's books. He's one of my favorite authors. He's an absolutely wonderful person, I think. And he's super sassy on Twitter. So yeah, definitely check this out. Definitely check out Riordan's other work if you haven't. And I'm going to start talking about spoilers now, so let's get straight into that. Alright, so first and foremost, can I just address the diversity in this series? It's amazing. Now, Rick has always had some diversity in his series, and I know that he's said before that he wants kids to see themselves in these books, which is so important. Representation matters so much, and I love that he's really doing his part to do that as such a famous author with such a huge, huge fan base and platform to work on, and I think that's wonderful. And well, in the Percy Jackson series, there were a couple characters of color, I think, and a lot of the characters had dyslexia and ADHD, which was great to see that addressed, because I think that one of his kids has ADHD and dyslexia, something about his children. Anyway, it's so wonderful to see these things represented in novels, and I personally am not a part of a lot of these communities, but it's so wonderful to see a Muslim hijabi girl in a children's series, and to see a transgender, gender fluid character represented. And one of the things that I loved so much about Alex's character was that Alex wasn't treated differently because of the way they, and I say they, I know in the book, Alex identifies as gender fluid with he or she pronouns depending on how he or she feels during the day, but they is just easier for me to use in review terms right now. But it was so great to see it explained and to have Alex say, hey, I'm not representing this whole community, but I go by he or she pronouns. I'll let you know what they are on whatever day, depending on how I'm feeling, and how Alex doesn't want to be called they because Alex very much feels like he or she is either a he or a she. So it's very interesting to see that in a book, and it's amazing to see it because it's a part of our world and it's a part of society. So like Rick had said, representing that in novels, and especially ones as popular as his, is freaking amazing, because these kids who would grow up feeling weird otherwise have these wonderful, amazing, strong, and lovely characters to look up to and to say, hey, what you're feeling is completely normal, and it's just amazing, especially for a middle grade series. One of the things I also wanted to just mention is that middle grade recently has been so great, and I believe firmly that it always has been progressive in different senses that YA isn't. And I think that's because authors of middle grade books can get away with a lot more, but also mask it while getting away with it, such as making adult sort of references in middle grade books. And I know that Rick Riordan has done this a million times, but by normalizing these things and putting them in books for kids to read and to see, and later on when they read those books again, like I did, especially with Rick Riordan books, to be able to realize that these things are normal and they're ingrained in your childhood now, and it's good to normalize them. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm not going in circles, but yeah, I just wanted to say that the diversity in this is absolutely lovely, and none of it is done in a discriminatory or racist way, which people accidentally or on purpose do to add diversity to their novels. And I'm just so glad that Rick is doing this for such important and respectful reasons. And speaking of references, oh my god, Rick Riordan, he just makes these amazing references that if you're not a kid of the 90s, or really if you're not a millennial or anyone born before then, you just won't get. And I think that that's so funny because he knows that little kids are reading this, but he also knows that the little kids, when he started writing these books in like 2005 or whatever, are still reading them as grown-ups, and I definitely fall into that category. So it's amazing that he's just adding these little things in it, and it's so great. All these Nirvana references are just killing me because I love Nirvana so much, and having him talk about Kurt Cobain and whatever, and referencing like random TV shows like Cheers, like little kids aren't gonna fucking get what you're talking about when you're talking about the bar in Cheers. But people my age and older are, and I think that that's absolutely hilarious and wonderful, and honestly, it's another reason why I love Rick Riordan, and it adds this special, I guess, sort of humor to the books, along with the overall silly, fun, easygoing, humorous nature that is already present there. So let's get into the story. First of all, I just wanted to say that only a couple days ago I found out that this series is only a trilogy. I thought it was going to be 6 books like the rest of them, and I'm kind of sad that it's not going to be 6 books because I'm growing really attached to these characters. And you know, I'm only 2 books in and there's only going to be 1 more, and I still feel like there's so much to learn about these characters, and I feel like there's so much breathing room. But at the same time, I am glad that it's not 6 books because I hate when things are drawn out, and I trust Rick to be able to write something in 3 books and be able to flush the story out as much as he can instead of dragging it into something that's completely boring and has no overall meaning to this world. Oh, and by this world, I mean like the mythology, demigod sort of world that he's created, not our world, Earth, because I don't know. I just sort of half confused myself with that, so hopefully no one watching this was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, I think that this was a really great second book. We're getting a lot of the story and the world building sort of out of the way, but not done in a very boring kind of like, here, have this kind of way. It was very well crafted, it was very well written, and very well presented. We were able to get a lot of the lore and adventure woven together, and along with the adventure we were able to get out a lot, like I mean a lot, of very important parts of the plot. And by getting out, which sounds a bit weird, a lot of these major parts of the plot, I think that it adds to the overall fast-paced nature of this series, which I really like. And like I said, this book took me a really long time to read, and that is solely because I've been so busy with schoolwork and I've been really struggling reading books that are over 250 pages. But this was so fast-paced, and honestly, finishing it is making me want to read books that are over 300 pages again, which is really great because that is the majority of the books that are on my TBR. So I'm really, really happy that it's so fast-paced and we were able to get so much information in, and I think the overall plot was really good. And even though I'm saying that I really love it being so fast-paced, I think that it could have worked better being a little slower. You know, I really just want another book. That's why I'm saying that. I'm not ready to leave these characters. I'm not ready for the last book to come out this year. Oh my god. I just love them so much. I'm growing so attached. I think that Magnus and Sam and Hearth and Blitz and everyone and Alex and TJ and all the people at the thing. At the thing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I just love these characters so much. This is just me gushing about how much I love the Magnus Chase world. This is not a review. This is me being a disgusting fangirl. Anyway, I loved having all of that quality time with all of these Norse characters and having more time with Loki, who is the real villain in this story, and having it slowly develop into this new thing where we're gonna get on a boat again. Oh my god, Riordan clearly loves writing storylines with boats in it, and Percy Jackson, fucking Percy Jackson. I was reading the end of the book and I was like, bitch, what? What? We're going to get another book with Percy in it that isn't about Greek gods, and we have Annabeth already. Oh my god. What? What? I was just like flipping my shit because the amount of love that I have for Percy Jackson is unreal. I love Percy so much. It's a problem, but I just think he's so great. I would kill to be in Annabeth's shoes. Anyway, as this is getting very long, I just want to say that overall, I thought the plot was great, fast-paced, maybe a little bit too fast-paced, and I thought it was great getting to know all these characters. It was great getting to know the lore of the world and not having it thrown at you, having it woven into the adventure was so lovely, and also having so many worlds explored and things shown to us and so many places gone and little quests throughout the whole book was absolutely amazing. The diversity was beautiful. Rick Riordan's writing was just as humorous and filled with hilarious references as usual, which is what makes it a 5-star Rick Riordan book for me. So thank you so much for watching this super fangirly, rambly review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you read this book and you want to talk more about it, I would love to have a discussion in the comments down below, so please leave me one if you'd like. You can subscribe to my channel over here. You can check out some of my other book reviews over here, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!